PDXCon gave us an entire weekend full of news, updates, and upcoming releases, including the actual confirmation that Victoria 3 is indeed a legitimate game in development. If you want to listen to some information based on the 0th dev diary on the game's vision, I highly recommend you check out my video in the top right corner of your screen. Among the announcements last weekend was Crusader Kings 3's first actual DLC, the Royal Court. As it stands right now, whether you're a simple Duke or a Grand Emperor, your court feels exactly the same. This DLC addresses that feeling directly and is looking to shake up that model to reward your hard work, whether you climbed the ranks or just started the game with the King title. Today we'll take a look at both the main aspects of the DLC on top of the free content and why both have huge implications for CK3. Let's dive in. The Royal Court. The Royal Court itself is something we've yet to see in a Paradox-developed game, and that alone is a huge and dramatic shift from the normal. In this DLC, on attaining the rank of King or Queen or Emperor Empress, you will unlock the Royal Court, an actual 3D rendered court space that will hold not only you and your family, but will be sprinkled with courtiers looking to gain an audience with their liege over issues big and small. Not only will it be full of people, but it serves doubly as a sort of trophy room for various weapons and items your dynasty has collected or acquired during its time on the top of the royalty food chain. At this time, your royal court will only come in 4 broad cultural styles with their various forms of customization, and I imagine that as other flavor packs and DLC come into play during CK3's lifetime, that court customization will only get larger and larger. Not to mention I can see people modding the holy living heck out of it, so maybe we'll see some really cool mods shortly after release. Your royal court will also come with a new hold court decision. Remember those courtiers I just mentioned? They aren't just there to stand around and look pretty. In fact, several of them don't look pretty at all. They will actually bring up issues and proposals to you during that decision, which has implications beyond what you decide and can even help build up your new stat, if you want to call it that, grandeur. Grandeur in crafted items. Grandeur is directly connected to your court, and in fact is a pretty huge determining factor to how effective your court is with portraying power in things like diplomacy and court decisions. You'll have to invest financially in your court in order to build up your grandeur, and from the sounds of it, you'll need to make that a consistent practice in order to keep that stat climbing. I'm assuming we'll be able to have a decent range of furniture, from the throne itself to banners, maybe even things like animal heads from your hunting expeditions, and of course, some other specific items as we are about to discuss. The higher your grandeur stat is, the more impressed people are of you, giving you opinion modifiers for your vassals and outside courts, which can also lead to more prominent and powerful wanderers to wind up in your own court. The examples given are people like blacksmiths, artists, and tutors to teach you new languages. Neglect pumping money into your court to keep it updated with the latest trends, and you risk not only losing status, but those around you will see stagnation, causing the opposite of what I just mentioned with regards to opinion and power projection. All these have a greater part to play in both the DLC and the free update. How's that? Well, a blacksmith can craft unique weapons for your own dynasty, where you can personally equip them for battles, duels, or even hang them up in your court, passing them down from generation to generation. You can commission an artist to make you or a family member a unique heirloom. A stonemason can make a statue dedicated to the dynasty. These will of course require money to commission, and the more powerful characters you attract to your court, the more expensive these become, but the more grandeur you will receive from them. It's a very cool system that I'm excited to test out and get a bit creative with. There is one flip side to both grandeur, your items, and how they tie into your royal court. To bring a sense of realism, and not to think of your court and those objects in some unseen realm of existence, it will be possible to loot your enemy's courts after a siege, or have your own court looted. Whether the same loot system would be applied to things like dead bodies, say should a knight fall in battle, I'm not entirely sure, but it would be pretty cool if so. There are also schemes you can take part in or steal other people's court items, which has some great role-playing and master strategy planning involved, in part due to the fact that it will, in some way, be possible to use a stolen heirloom or weapon as a casus belli to justify a war. How exactly that will work has yet to be seen, as you wouldn't be able to grab any land from said war, and I'm not quite sure if your AI allies would join you just to take back a shiny sword or another item that someone else has. These questions will no doubt be answered in future dev diaries, but it does present some unique situations that I believe will really enhance the playthroughs of your campaigns. Minor roles and titles. The last section that I'll dig into briefly for the Royal Court side are a new set of minor roles and titles. Part of me wants to think that this piece of DLC was added due to the popularity of the minor titles mod, which is currently sitting at around 18,500 subscribers, but regardless, it will be a great addition to the vanilla game that I'll gladly welcome. These titles will include a wide range of castle life, things like a jester, which hopefully won't be limited to a dwarf like in the mod, as I'd love to humiliate a vassal to keep them alive. Or how about a royal champion to fight you in duels? A food taster to prevent those nasty assassinations, which prone to have a side effect of death. Even a tutor that comes with the scheme to learn new languages, as I've mentioned, which is crucially important to the free update. One of the more important ones might be an antiquarian who restores relics. Items degrade over time, and that means if you want to fight with your great-granddaddy's sword, but it's been hanging on the wall for 50 years, you'll need to pay a hefty sum to restore it to its former power and use it. It will be interesting to see just how many titles we get to play with, the costs associated with them, and just what all they'll get to do to affect your empire's growth and interactions. The free update, language, and a cultural overhaul. If you think that the Northern Lords flavor pack went a good ways to enhance an already present culture, then I can tell you right now that the free update coming with the Royal Court DLC is right up your alley in ways that we aren't quite prepared for yet. Remember that tutor that teaches you new languages? Learning a new language and becoming fluent in it will then give you an opinion boost to any faction that speaks that language. Not only could this create bonds with other cultures for potential non-standard alliances, but it will help you in cases where you are in control of foreign lands through conquest or inheritance, where the local people might just think a bit more highly of you for knowing the language. How this language learning comes about is still largely unknown. It will no doubt require a highly skilled tutor in the art of learning, as well as one from the learner, in turn giving another reason to focus on that learning skill tree for potential children as they grow. What events and schemes we'll see from the language scheme alone will be quite fun and probably create some pretty hilarious failures as you go along. There is a massive cultural overhaul and enhancement system being included in this free update too. It's designed to make cultures more dynamic in how they interact with each other and much more modular than what we've seen so far. To begin, each culture will have their own ethos, a stance that reflects their values, be it stoic, spiritual, courtly, or inventive, etc., etc. This ethos will impact the traditions that they will want to adopt. A culture can have an unspecified amount of traditions, which can provide the entire culture with various benefits and effects. You could unlock the ability to farm better in different harsh climates, providing boosts income in places where previously it was hard to accomplish. Adopt a tradition that reduces penalties in diplomacy against certain other cultures, perhaps against a completely foreign type of neighbor, to pave the way for a future coalition later on down the genetic road. You can even go through military traditions, such as allowing women to become knights and fight in your armies. I've had plenty of campaigns where women in my courts were vastly better than the men I could summon to battle. I've always wanted to let them fight, and now I could do that without playing with specific cultures. It's all designed again to add some modularity to the entire system. Throwing a rather inventive monkey wrench into the ethos and traditions are cultural pillars. These pillars will be the foundations of your culture and the fundamentals that make it up. Language, heritage, architecture, dress apparel, all the things we immediately think of and most of what defines cultures presently in CK3. But these pillars have a massive twist to them in this update. You have the ability to spend prestige to meld aspects of two cultures together, where, under the right circumstances, you can create an entirely new culture not present in the game. Indo-Vikings? Yeah. Irish Tibetans, you bet. You can even have a go at creating historical combinations like the Normans, which is a very cool aspect of roleplay to think about. Melding these hybrid cultures will bring a combination of benefits from both sides and will also create a closer relationship between the two as well, allowing for a more peaceful expansion into areas that previously would have been hostile the entire campaign. It's all very fascinating, and I'm eager to read the dev diaries surrounding them once they come out. You can, of course, take the route I just explained, light it on fire, and give it the middle finger. spending that same prestige instead to invest it in divulging from the mother culture to create their own completely unique one that isn't reliant on the combination of others. It's completely up to you. No matter what you do, though, the AI has the ability to do the same, meaning that we could see some extremely bizarre and history-shaping combos, the likes of which have never been seen or considered in any game before. Talk about adding some replayability to the game, this will go for miles and miles towards it. And that about wraps up my initial coverage of what we are going to get a taste of with the Royal Court DLC and its free counterpart. I hope you enjoyed the video and its contents. If you did, do yourself a favor and subscribe to this channel, turn on bell notifications, and stick around as I tackle the dev diaries surrounding this DLC and Victoria 3. If you have yet to purchase CK3, now is a great time to do so from my Nexus store, and I highly recommend either buying the Royal Edition to take advantage of future DLC for a reduced cost, or buy the expansion pass to get the DLC and 2 flavor packs for a reduced overall price. Thanks for watching, everyone. Look forward to more dedicated content on CK3 in the future. This is Havoc, and I will see you in the next one.